call the City of Baldwin work session for June 6, 2023 into order. And so I'm gonna get them worked out. Public hearings, so this is a work session. We don't vote. We have quite a few things to discuss. However, I would like to, before we get started with the public hearing for the annexation request, I would like to have a motion to strike from item number one from the agenda, the MOU for the fire truck. And then I would also like to, we've got Susan here, so you can present the other things we don't really know anything about. So can I have a motion to strike item number one under new business for MOU for fire truck from the agenda?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Dr. Almani. You got a second?
Second
From Councilman Venture. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we are going to strike that, and we'll just move it. We'll talk about that Monday. But we do have the information in your council, so if you can between now and our Monday night meeting, if you want to review the information, and if you have any questions, maybe send us an email. We can send Emily an email to ask, and Chief Roy to ask any sort of additional information, and we can discuss it on Monday too. So, all right. So moving along. So first thing on the agenda is a public hearing for the Habersham County Development Authority annexation request, ordinance 2023-05124A. As you will see next over in your packet, we've got the application for a variance and zoning change. And we did discuss this and have our first reading at our previous meeting, in the meeting last month. This is a data processing company that is purchasing property from the Habersham County Development Authority, PAD 10. And we've been working together. We worked together with the Development Authority, Partnership Habersham, as well as Planning and Zoning, and Emily. We kind of worked together to make sure that the parcels were all correct, the legal descriptions were correct, because there were some parcels that had previously been annexed into the city, and but it was swapped with Windstream, a piece of property that Windstream owns that was not annexed into the city. So there's kind of some housekeeping to do on that. They did get that completed. We have been able to set up a timeline. We sent our request to the Habersham County Commissioners for the zoning and annexation, and they actually waived their 30-day right to oppose that, so that we could move things along further, because they were definitely agreeable to having this company in the airport business park. So that said, we've had our first reading. We are having our hearing now. Law requires 20 minutes for that reading, and in that 20 minutes, we would like to hear from people. I'm going to go ahead and actually start that now. So it is 6:40. So at 7 o'clock rather. Let me get the numbers right too. So at 7 o'clock, the hearing period will end. So for the first 10 minutes, we would like for anyone present that would like to speak in opposition of this annexation and zoning request. The floor is open. Second 10 minutes we will have for anyone who is to speak in favor of the annexation and zoning request. So, seeing that no one is here to step forward, we're going to leave the table open and move on through our agenda. Is council okay with that? Yes. Right. So, item number 2 on the agenda is our improvements to the courtroom. Susan, can you come and talk to us about it?
I'll do my best. I just found out a little while ago that I was doing this, so.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But it's okay, because we've actually been looking forward to doing this for quite a while.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think I'm prepared enough to answer any questions or whatever. But what we're doing for the courtroom is part of that's already been done.
Yes.
And as of last week, that little square box up there
Yes.
now lets my computer work in here as almost as well as it does in there.
Good, so
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 for-
much easier.
So for the first time, I may actually get to sit beside the judge and stay in here and instead of running all over the building. That's been awesome, thank you.
Yes.
But the rest of the improvements were, we were gonna get chairs for the courtroom. And it looks like, that Emily did have her to send me all of this information.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks like the courtroom chairs, what we were gonna do was get, they come in boxes of 4. So we were gonna get 25 boxes so we could have, enough to put, have some extra maybe.
Yes.
But the courtroom, I think Joe Roy said is rated to be able to seat 120 people or hold 120 people.
Yes.
So we figured 100 chairs would be a good number to have in here. So that's what we're hoping for there. And the chairs that we're looking at are cleanable. They're not padded, they're not cushiony or whatever, but who sits in here that long anyway?
Yes.
And this way they can be very well, very easily cleaned and we can take care of them better that way. They're stackable so that when we need just a bigger area, we can stack them in the corner, move them away or whatever. So I think that's a big plus for us. I think we've needed it for a while. And it's also, they don't have arms, so people that have gun belts, whatever, like that can sit there and
Oh,
get up
yes.
without taking their chair with them.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's a good point.
Yes, because they get, the gun belts and stuff get hung in the chairs and then they can't get up.
Mhm.
But, and then the other part was, we were talking about having to, put in some, they're called credenzas, I don't know what you're talking about. And then a desk shell is what they called it, over there on that side.
Mhm.
And that way, like Emily, everybody can sit there during the council meetings, they'll have room, and my solicitor and all of those can sit there during court.
Yes.
And I think that would be a nice addition, and very helpful.
Much more professional, I
Mhm.
would think.
Yeah, I think so too, because right now, we kind of like sit just anywhere.
Yes.
I think it'd be very helpful. And then of course, they'll need a chair over there too, so the chair's on there.
Yeah.
But, is there any questions about any of that?
Oh, no, we were talking about 100 chairs. Is court getting more busy?
Yeah, we didn't even have room to park everybody last time. We didn't have room to get everybody in the door, and the people that did get in were standing against the walls and standing in the, little lobby area out there. So yes, it's getting much bigger. It's back to like it used to be, so.
Pre-pandemic.
And, before we had the benches, and then we would line chairs up all the way around the room too, so it's back like it was.
There's 30 chairs in here. That is going to be so much different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we still have them kind of spaced. We spaced them out like this before COVID, we had the church pews, but we changed to these, and they're very nice and comfortable, and that's very nice to sit in as opposed to an armless plastic chair, but they hold on to all kinds of little yuckies,
Right.
which,
And you never know when we might have to go back. There may be another pandemic or something. We hope not, but, prepare.
yes, we hope not, yeah. So what I liked about, because I did briefly speak with Emily about that, about the chairs, and they were having to walk in when they were talking about them, but they're just black plastic chairs like you see common in courtrooms. And I do like the fact that they can be stacked and put away, and especially being cleaned. And I think that actually brings me to, I believe the way that you all are proposing to pay for that is through public safety funds.
That's what she said.
Right, and so as a public safety initiative, they are able to be cleaned, so that's public safety. The other thing is that the way that everyone packs in here like sardines is not safe. So if Chief Roy is telling us that the occupancy for this room, you said is 150?
I think he said 120.
120, that's, yeah, I think that's right, yes. So that would, not go over the 120 capacity requirement.
But are we getting to the point where we're gonna need a third court?
And we may. I'm looking at that. Right now, what I'm trying to do is bump the courts ahead just a little bit sooner than normal so that they won't get us full. And it's fine to put people out, another month or so. They like it better, they have more time to save up money and
Yes.
get an attorney if they want to, whatever. So that, nobody complains about that.
Yeah.
But we just normally had it to where after 30 days, you try to get your court date in. Right now, I'm bumping them ahead. By the time that I get 150 in a court, I bump that to the next court. And that way, and people change their court dates now. So if I have 150, we might have 70 people, that we deal with.
Yeah.
Everybody else has moved their court date or, whatever.
Well, it might be 70 people coming before the judge, but then they bring people with them.
That's true, yes,
Too,
that is
so
true.
it's not just the.
That
those
is one
70.
thing we're trying to look at too, is because we try not to ever tell anybody they can't come in, it's an open court. Sometimes we do have to ask them to stand at the door, and listen from there if we don't have enough room for everybody. But that's why we're looking at a third court possibly. I'm gonna play with the numbers and see how long we can do it this way, but we are definitely, I put it in my budget to have a third court if we need to.
Yeah. And then also with changes going, with the adding, making those additions to the desks, that's, going to bring you guys from out on the floor, which makes a little extra room too. And I would imagine that if we were to have a council meeting, we have had, it's not often, but we do have council meetings where you'll have a lot of people and there's not enough room for them to get in, or sit down, so that'll be helpful.
I would like to add that my vision that I have for this space in the very near future would include a display on that wall there and some form of audiovisual integration, because what we have now is Mickey Mouse, and it needs to be upgraded, and it does not cost that much to do, but that would make access not only to court hearings and information for the court, as well as counsel, much easier to everybody in the city, much more accessible to people in our city. So that is something that we need to think about.
Especially if people are hearing impaired,
Yes.
I've tried to listen to past council meetings, and the audio doesn't pick up anything. I mean, it's,
No, yeah, it's
I'm
terrible.
just stressed trying to listen.
Trying to
so,
listen, yeah.
Yeah.
As a citizen,
Yep.
never mind a councilman, but as a citizen, I'm frustrated by
Yeah.
that. And this is something we've talked about over and
Oh,
over.
I think we had a citizen that had a comment.
Yes,
here.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Is it possible, and again, as a citizen of Baldwin and of the United States of America, to move that table, or when we do reposition, so nothing's in front of the American flag?
I agree.
I mean, we do a Pledge of Allegiance and I see half of it.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think that the American flag is something that should stand on its own, and not be back up in the corner. It may be located in the corner, but somewhere that's more prominent.
Yeah.
It's just a suggestion.
There's really no way to do it that way.
And that has bothered me too, and we are working towards something different. If the budget passes as we have it, we are intending to, add another person for court, because it's just me right now, and it's becoming unmanageable.
Yeah.
But when we do that, we are hoping to be able to put her right here in this room
That's
and add a window here for payments. Then we can take all of that away, because that bothers me being in front of the flag too. It's constantly bothering me.
Well,
Yeah.
if we get a camera set up for court and council meetings, and let's say we put it in the back of the courtroom or other room, which would be the smartest way to do it, and we could position the American flag there, everybody's facing towards the camera, towards the flag, and it's prominent and easily visible. But there are protocols involved
That's what I was gonna
with the
say.
placement of the flag, and it's been 25 years since I've had to deal with them, so I can't remember them all now, but there
My
are certain
understanding
protocols.
is to be to the right of the
Yeah,
mayor.
It does.
That's what I always understood.
It has to be to the right. I just can't remember if there's this specific rule regarding whether it should be in front or in the back or.
Her right or looking at her right?
My understanding is the right when they're sitting down. I could be wrong, that's the way I took it when they told me that.
So I think a location would be appropriate now, right? I mean, it's to the right of the mayor.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's probably why they're
To the right
sitting
of
in
your
those.
right.
Yeah, yep. So that's probably why they're sitting in the corners, because they always have.
But both flags are stuck in the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
were they integrated into the center. I mean, I understand there's some issue with passage, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we could look at mise en scène much more critically, so. There was, one of the other questions I had about seating has to do with privacy. So when somebody who's coming before the court is working with his or her lawyer, how will the flow or the reorganization help with privacy for that person? Because I know we've had some issues.
Right, in most of the cases, they have talked before they get here, so it's just kind of like whisper and final stuff. A lot of times they will go back out into the lobby if they want to talk a little more openly. And most of the time they'll just sit and whisper between themselves, in the seats here if there's something else that comes up. And then when they come before the judge doesn't keep them at the bench or the podium in front of them. He hasn't come up to him, so they're talking quietly there too.
Yeah.
So,
There we go. Any more discussion about the courtroom improvements? All right, you wanna bring that to Monday night meeting?
Sure.
All right. Okay, next, thank you, Susan, we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Oh, actually, if you don't mind,
But it's
just one more, yeah.
Before Susan begins at 7:50, do you want to call for those who want to speak
Yes,
into the board?
thank you for the reminder. Yes, if anyone present would like to come forward and speak in favor of the, Habersham County, Development Authority annexation and rezoning request, please come forward. And then, Susan, I'm sorry to make you run back and
That's
forth.
fine.
Our next item on the agenda is the Justice One contract. Can you help us out with that?
I can. So actually, we're looking at two things. The first thing that we're looking at is our police department has gone with another software. And so what we're doing right now is we are, using them to put all our tickets in, and they're handling all the tickets and all the information. But at present, we're still paying our old way as to, with the same way that we had it previously. So right now, what we're asking for is to go with a read-only contract through Courtware or Justice One, because they have our information and we need to get to it. And so they provide, we've done this when we switched before. And what you do then is you no longer add any information into the Justice One side. You just have it available to get to so that you can see the reports and you can pull up any of the information that you need from the police department side. My side would still stay the same for the court side. And that would be $250, I believe it is, a month. And that would be from the, police department budget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How long do you anticipate needing this? In perpetuity? or-
Emily suggested several years. I know some people say 2 years is long enough, some people say that they want longer than that. And we did ask if we could say one thing and then extend it if we need to, or if we find that we don't need it, can we back? And this is not a binding contract. So they said we could stop at any time, or we can add to it at any time. So if we say we want 3 years, and we say, wait, we want 4, or wait, we want 5, they said that would be okay too.
And there's no option for us to pull the data out of their database so that we don't need to continue this
Not
in
to
the
my
future?
knowledge. This is how it's been done to everybody I've talked to. Nobody else has suggested anything else. And when we moved from, MDS to Courtware, we had to do the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's just the thing that they have to do.
Gotcha.
So in the terms, it says here terms, this license shall be in effect from the date of execution of this agreement and shall remain in effect during the term of this agreement. Upon termination or expiration of this license, all rights and obligations shall cease, except the licensee's obligation to maintain the confidentiality of JSO's proprietary information, and then termination, upon termination, into,
Has Bubba looked at this?
I don't know.
She's,
And, but that's something, that we need to ask as far as our information gathering over the week?
And I will say that, Mr. Redwine, the one that I've been talking with there, he actually offered to be here tonight, even though I didn't know this until like 4:30, something like that. But he offered, he said, I can get there if you need me. And I said, I think we can get through this, but, you know, he can contact me if any questions you guys.
Okay, good, good.
I don't see an expiration date on it, I don't believe.
That's what I was looking
There's-
for.
There's a lot of information, a number of questions I still have.
And this is the proposal, so
Okay.
it's, you know, we can change things, I'm sure, or ask questions or whatever, but this is what he sent out like, right at a year ago.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Okay, gotcha. Is this the, yes, so, council, if you guys wanna take this home and, read over it between now and our Monday meeting. I do see item 14, compensation and termination, so that's some juicy stuff there. Agreement termination or expiration, yeah, we'll read over this.
And maybe he should be here Monday night.
Oh, yeah, if you could ask him, yeah, that would be, yeah.
Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask you.
Wonderful. Okay. All right, guys.
And then, are you ready for the other one?
Yes, as well. Oh, yes.
All right, I'm writing that down so I don't forget to tell you.
Okay.
The other one is the proposal for, the court software, which is with Justice One,
Oh,
to
okay.
add to Azure. So I can add my system to that. Therefore, anytime that there's an issue, a problem, whatever, Courtware or Justice One themselves will take care of it. I won't have to call ACNS and say, I got a problem, you know, with this. As long as it has to do with the Courtware or the, software itself, they'll take care of it. Like the updates that I used to have to call ACNS and say,
Yeah.
can you be ready? They'll do it automatically. I won't even have to ask.
Great.
The, Justice One does it, all of that stuff automatically.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what that will do is, what this whole thing will do is if we go with it the way we've got it, the police department will pay $250 a month for their read-only.
Mhm.
The tickets right now, we are paying $20 per ticket right now,
Mhm.
to have the court software. And, well, that was the court and the police department software. The new will take me up to Azure, and it will reduce the price of the tickets to $11 per ticket. So,
Gotcha.
that would be.
From 20.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's great.
And that's $11 per paid ticket.
Yeah.
They don't charge us until it's paid.
And that goes on to the offender, that's included in the.
Through the monthly remittance reports.
Yes, gotcha. So in other words, it's not coming from the taxpayers, it's coming from the
Right.
actual offenders. Yep. Okay. Awesome. You guys have any more questions for Susan? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so we'll read over this and again, if you guys need to, have questions, send them. And then, we are going to move, actually, we got about 3 more minutes left on the public hearing, so we'll go ahead and move forward to item number 4, which is ratify the Valvoline decision. So, actually, yes, Dakota, you wanna come tell us what happened? Cause I believe it was your.
It was.
Yes. So, what had happened was?
What had happened was, so, 2 weeks ago yesterday, I went and had an oil change at Valvoline, just for regular routine maintenance. Vehicle drove fine the rest of that night. Well, Tuesday morning, I was assistant county with a call at, with a call, an incident happened at the prison. Well, I'm on perimeter, and then my oil pressure just drops to nothing.
Yeah.
Long story short, either they didn't put the filter on right, which I'm not exactly sure, because Chief Jones and Assistant Chief Ferguson's been in contact with figuring all that stuff out.
Yes.
Anyhow, no oil in my engine block whatsoever, had to get it towed. Well, long story short, the engine is now seized because of the bad filter or not being able to put it back on correctly.
Yeah.
And, it's now sitting at hazing, a new motor and a new radiator.
Yes.
Per GM, that's what it calls for both to do this. Radiator should be here hopefully this week or maybe next week at the latest.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if they had an ETA for when it would be done. No,
He's
and it's
supposed-
like that.
Well, I talked to the man, or the, service tech supervisor, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what his rank is or title.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that he's got, a shipping number or tracking number for it. He's gonna check tomorrow and get back with us and see when it's going to be here.
Perfect, thank you very much. So as I oh, wait.
Isn't it the dealer that changed the oil or a small shop?
Well, we have a contract through Valvoline as well as Hayes, but Hayes is a lot more expensive
Yeah.
on our contract.
Yeah.
So Valvoline's covering the cost to fix the vehicle because it was on them. It wasn't anything that I did anything wrong. I wasn't pulsing on it, wasn't doing nothing silly. I mean, I was literally going like 20 miles an hour when this happened.
Yeah,
So I was actually turning from Mount Zion Road on the 365, come to the yield sign right there, and that's when it went out on me.
Where is the Valvoline store?
It's right, you know, Tractor Supply is in Cornelia.
Yeah.
It's right beside that, and the new, Sanjero's, yeah.
Still there a while. Okay, I never did.
They're actually issuing a recall on all those filters right now because.
Oh, are they?
it's sensitive.
I
I was
didn't-
told.
Yes. So the filter, there's a gasket and it sort of folded in on itself, so it wasn't seated properly and the oil leaked out. That said, Valvoline said, okay, you know, we recognize that this is our fault, so we are going to pay for what it costs to replace the motor with brand new, not re-engineered, equipment. Also, it is paying for, there's a $500 contingency in there. Hayes has given us what it would absolutely cost us, you know, worst case scenario, to replace all of that. They added a $500 contingency, and then the rest of it is also for the tow. Valvoline paid for the tow as well. So we actually had to sign a release, because Valvoline's like, hey, we're gonna pay the I'm sorry, you're right, 97, $9,714.07. And it is that the replacement is being done at Hayes as opposed to Valvoline replacing it. And, so they're like, okay, we'll give you the money, but you gotta release us from the future, which, there wouldn't be anything, the replacement is being done from Hayes. It also, as I, asking my questions before getting this done, made sure that it did not affect our lease program with Enterprise, and that was all confirmed. So fortunately, it's sort of clean cut and, you know, just done and, and it gets replaced. And also no warranty issues or anything like that, so.
The work, from my understanding too, if Hayes does the work on it, whatever work they do is also warranted there.
Yes.
Anytime it comes from the dealership.
Yep, precisely. So, you know, so we had to get consensus from council, and this is something that we will ratify at our next meeting, so we, you know, we just had to bring it up in discussion today.
So why did you bring it up if you're not actually working any money out?
It's still, we have to sign a release. So, and in the spirit of making sure that everyone is aware of everything, and the transparency of it, hey, you know, Valvoline made a mistake, it resulted in us and them having to pay for a new motor, and to pay Hayes to put it in and to tow the vehicle. So they're like, all right, we're taking care of our end of the deal, but please release us, which is typical. We actually had the same thing happen to our Kia. They didn't put the drain plug in correctly, they stripped the thread, and it dropped the plug and all the oil with it, and it seized the engine. Well, this guy's going 80 miles an hour.
I was not doing 80 miles an hour.
Well,
I
he
was
wasn't,
doing speed
he
limit.
was doing the speed limit on the highway.
79 and a half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it, yeah, that's it.
Speed limit in Montana.
Yeah.
There's a speed limit somewhere.
So they replaced it.
Kilometers and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kilometers,
south
it's
there.
kilometers, yeah, yeah. So anyway, we had to sign a release as well, so, and they replaced the motor. So, yeah, standard, but we want everyone to be aware of it, and, so we can't take any action tonight because it's a work session, but we'll bring this forward on Monday to ratify. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I'm also proud of Valvoline for taking responsibility. You know, they're a good local partner, it was a mistake, they're making good on the repair of the mistake. So I don't want anybody to think poorly of a local
Yeah, no
company.
It happens.
Yeah.
So
No,
mistakes happen and they've been, decent to deal with.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely, because, and when you get situations like this, sometimes you really, it's like pulling teeth, to get the company to take responsibility for the mistake they made, but they're like, no, we're sorry, we'll take care of it.
And for the record, I didn't break it.
You didn't break it, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, so we're about 7 minutes after the expiration of the public hearing, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that now. Did any of you guys, ask again, any questions? Perfect. So we'll move forward from that. We can move on to announcements. The Piedmont Library System pop-up rolling library will be set up at the Farmers Market in Baldwin from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. this Friday and every Friday through the end of July. We encourage all our residents, especially those with children, to come and check out or return books. This is available to anyone with a Times Library card. Cards can be issued on-site for those that do not currently have one. Additionally, those attending the pop-up rolling library with children will also receive food bags, courtesy of the Food Bank of Northeast Georgia. Very exciting. And by the way, there are a lot of things that are going on in the entire community for kids during the summer to kind of keep them busy. It's always a task. Yeah, it really is. And, to try to keep them from being couch potatoes or getting into trouble and keeping their minds active while they're in this time that they're not in schools, you get the brain delay.
Well, it's hard when parents work
Yeah.
too, one of the frustrations is that most of the recreational activities are at the north end of the county.
Yes.
And so if the kids wanted to play, tennis or something, pickleball, it's in
Yeah.
the north end of the county.
Yes.
And our folks live down here.
Yes. So that's why we are proud to announce that we have the Baldwin Water War this Saturday, June 10th, from 2:30 to 4:30 at Mitchell Gailey Park. Bring your water guns and a towel and wear sunscreen also, please. Skin cancer is a real thing. And join us to kick off summer vacation and beat the heat. We will have some water guns to share, but if you have your own, please bring it so as many people as possible can participate. Sign up today at City Hall on the Facebook event or email baldwinevents@cityofbaldwin.org. Super excited about this. Our events planning committee has been working really hard to try to come up with things because there's outside of Baldwin doing anything in the southern end of the county, there is nothing. And I harp on this maybe a little bit too much, but we also have sort of the lower socioeconomic end of the county, and there are fewer opportunities, and I feel very proud that Baldwin and our events planning committee, and especially our sponsors, because this is money that gets donated to us from all kinds of businesses and partners, not only in Baldwin, but throughout Habersham County, people that care and want us to have nice things. So we're working really hard to be able to have some things for kids and families to be able to do that doesn't cost, this not a financial burden. So we're really proud of this. I'm especially excited about it. They'll be able to dunk the mayor. We'll have a dunking booth. So they can dunk the mayor.
That's why I'm showing up.
Me too. That's what I'm thinking, right? I'm so different. Like, you guys need to print something because I think I have a lot of people out there that would love to come and dunk me, and they're welcome always. So just pass the word on. Okay, so last announcement: city offices will be closed Monday, June 19th, in observance of Juneteenth. Some of you may remember last year we in an effort to improve employee retention and also to make sure that our employees have everything that they deserve, we made the decision to observe observe all federally observed holidays. So I think that at that point, that decision that we made last year actually added an extra 5 days of days off for our, paid days off for our employees. They were very grateful, so. There were some that were like, well, why Juneteenth? I don't care what if it's federally observed holiday, we're gonna observe it, it doesn't matter what's behind it, yeah, so. Anyway, so we're glad for that. Council, do you guys have any announcements?
I actually have an announcement.
Oh, okay.
Today is June the 6th, and we should,
That was my announcement.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, we should take a moment and remember those folks that stormed the beaches in France during World War II. She actually has a family member that drove one of the landing craft that hit the beaches of Normandy. It's a special day. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people forget about it. But take a moment when you get home and remember the folks on both this side, as far as in the country here, and the ones that actually stormed the beaches, because it was truly a worldwide effort. And we need to take,
We lost 9,000
Yes.
soldiers that day.
just in that
On that
one
one
side.
day, we lost 9,000 soldiers.
Yeah.
That allowed over 100,000 of our soldiers to move into Europe.
And it's the men and women that built the landing craft here as well,
Yeah.
that built the ships,
Yeah.
everything worked towards that one point. So please remember the folks that worked on that, and many of them making the ultimate sacrifice.
My grandfather's brother, whom I affectionately called Uncle Granddaddy, since I don't even remember, I came up with that name and I was really weird. But my Uncle Granddaddy drove the landing craft onto Omaha Beach twice.
Yeah.
Omaha, yeah, twice. I cannot fathom what it would have been like to not just go through the first one, but then the second round, knowing how the first round turned out, right? So how do you do that? And come out, and with any sort of semblance of being a normal human being after that. He was a very good, strong man, and those were all incredibly brave men and women, and that served in that war, and super proud of it. So thank you for reminding me that it is D-Day, because I did forget. And this is also the first year my Uncle Granddaddy passed away very early this year, so this is the first D-Day since he's been gone. 94 years old.
We're getting so far past World War II, but so many young people don't realize the sacrifices. You know, and people say Happy Memorial Day. That's an interesting.
It's not
happy.
It's not.
I mean, Memorial Day is about remembering the soldiers that we lost. Veterans Day is something else. The people who served that are still here, and you can honor them. But Memorial Day has a different emotion, a different connotation to it. And then with the anniversary of D-Day falling down, I don't think we honor the service of the people that we lost.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Korea or Vietnam or Iraq, Afghanistan, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
we go on our merry way. Like, you all know my husband owns restaurants, and he's in Helen, and it's balloons and cars and food and tequila and Memorial Day, but that's not Memorial Day. You know, there is another layer to this, and I see your emotion, and so it's important that we remember the sacrifice of so many.
Maybe the best way that we can appreciate that sacrifice is by appreciating the freedom that we have in this country that nobody else has in the world.
And respect for that flag. And thank you for saying that it's obstructed and that makes you uncomfortable, so, yeah.
And I would hope that, I'll throw this out there at the council, and at some point in the future, maybe something that could be discussed, but I would love, I'm one who believes in Memorial Day not even
You said that to me,
close.
that's right. Yeah.
Fourth of July is fireworks.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is something that, and I think America has come to a point where it's the meaningfulness. I know there are a lot of people who don't get it, but I think there is a lot of sentiment around Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love for us to be the headliners of somehow putting together a parade with the other cities, but, you know, for us to lead the way with other cities in Habersham County and in Banks County, 'cause we're both,
Mhm.
where we have veterans, we have bands from the schools, we have, where this is a big deal. I mean, a big deal, a Memorial Day parade, where it's always the same place, and I mean a place where over years, people will come and they will get their spot hours before it starts.
Mhm.
You know, and I think that would be something that would be just, I think that would really make a statement about what we're about. And I think it would help, I think it'd be a great thing for us as a city.
I think as the new park grows and develops, I mean,
That would be
we
a
were
spot.
able to, I don't wanna say consecrate, that's not the right word, but begin remembering, fallen citizens,
Yeah.
you know.
As a memorial.
As a memorial, in December, when we had the parade, the county parade here, we had a lovely service for Officer Flores' family,
Scott County officer,
Yeah.
killed in the line of duty,
but a Baldwin resident.
and involved in native. Yeah.
So, you know, maybe there are things that we can do, not so much parade, but more, and I get it, but more literally memorial.
Also, you know, and we get, it's something to discuss. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
but, you know,
And maybe citizens can weigh in,
It was
you know,
something
if they
that I
have ideas.
experienced when I lived in Illinois. There was always a Memorial Day parade. And, I mean, it was, you had people who served, you know, it wasn't floats and crap like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it was the VFW, it was your, I mean, if you've never, I'm assuming that everybody here has, because you've lived here a lot longer than I have. But, the place over at what's the, huh? No, where they have that plane, over by the hill, it was, Curry, yes.
Oh, Curry Mountain, oh, yeah.
Have you ever been to
Yeah.
that? Have you ever
Yeah.
been to?
Yes.
That is amazing, and it's free. It's the most amazing experience. My brother was a veteran. My brother, when he came and visited, went there and just to see and listen to him speak with these people about World War II and what they had gone through and the whole experience. It was just like, it was really, and I mean, there are people out there, you know, for us to go to, you know,
Honor and celebrate
honor,
and to,
yes,
and,
in memory of, again,
Yeah.
it's just something that, you know,
think about
Well, I
that.
think the
Absolutely.
chamber is trying to, with, you know, some of the ways that they honor our veterans and our fallen heroes too.
Yeah.
So, you know, they may be able to get involved.
Yeah. You know, some of those event, yes, I agree. And you know, some of those, so similar to Easter, you know, we say, oh, happy Easter, but it's a very somber thing that we're, you know, celebrating, remembering. Same thing, like you guys said, that's such a good point, that you know, we're out at the lake or we're at the beach and we're, you know, eating and drinking and having a good time. But really, I don't think enough people actually realize or think about it. They're like, oh, Memorial Day weekend. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the funeral for the Confederate soldiers that died in the H.L. Hunley.
The submarine.
The submarine off the Charleston coast. Ooh, it was silent. Like it was outside, there were thousands of people there, you could have heard a pin drop. Somebody, you know, we didn't have smartphones then. Somebody's cell phone rang, and it was horrible. But anyway, it was an incredible event, an incredible experience. But the gravity of the situation, the gravity of the reason we were there was very much present. And I feel that gravity needs to be felt on Memorial Day, any kind of, celebration that we do. That's a good idea. Well, anyway, I know everyone wants to get out of here, so if there are no more, any other announcements from council? Any announcements from staff?
Remember, if there's any little kids in the neighborhood that don't get no meals, the buses deliver food every day to the laundromat past Haversham Metal and to the laundromat behind the old, Galaxy food store up here, and then the Canadian Library parking lot, there's a bus goes there.
Okay.
Well, I know my wife said today that they've had some meals come back, so.
Yeah.
Those not having as many go to the buses. Figured they would.
Guess we need to get that word out. Is that something that you guys can help out with as well?
Which they're advertising, and
Yeah.
they've got signs everywhere that the buses is on way. I know they're going to the old cannery, which is the old fireman school.
Yep.
There's 12 buses going out every day,
Wow.
different locations.
12 buses with food for these kids. That's fantastic. That's great. All right, great. Well, if there's no more to do, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank you. I got a motion from Councilman Ayers. Do I have a second? Second from Councilman Victor. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All right, we are adjourned.